in any other context other than Islam. When they think of slavery, they think of losing your freedom. They think of being oppressed. They think of being forced to do something you don't want to do. These are the thoughts that come in the mind when you think of the word slavery. It's an ugly word. But the beauty of the rububiyyah of Allah, us becoming slaves, is that it frees us. You and I become slaves of Allah, and you're free from every other form of slavery. You're no longer a slave to fashion. You're no longer a slave to your appetites. You're no longer a slave to societal pressure. You're no longer a slave to economic worries. All of the things that shackle humanity and enslave humanity, you've just been freed from them. You're not worried about that anymore. It doesn't get to you like it gets to anybody else. It is the ultimate declaration of independence, if you will. That's what Rabbuna Allah is. And I specifically want the youth to hear this. It's interesting. Before I came to the United States, I came to the United States as a teenager. We love our freedom in America. And when I came to high school here, at first I was like, because I went to high school in the Muslim world, or elementary school in the Muslim world, and there's uniform, and boys and girls are separate, and there's a structure, and there's assembly in the morning that looks like the military training. It looks like that, but you don't have such a thing in America. You go to high school, it's a free-for-all. It's like being at the mall. Free country, right? What is a free country? But after a while, we start realizing something. All the goth kids hang together. All the hip-hop kids hang together. All the heavy metal kids look the same. All the geeks are the same. They sit on the same table at lunch. Everybody's almost got a uniform. There are even certain brands you're supposed to wear or not supposed to wear. There's actually a kind of fashion and cultural and cliquish slavery. These people aren't free. They're not free at all. They're forced, they're enslaved to fit into one thing or another. There's one thing interesting about America that you don't find in many places in the world. If you go to school in some part of the Muslim world, like you go to school in Malaysia, or you go to school in Pakistan or something, as a kid, you could be fat, you could be short, you could be tall, whatever, nobody cares. You are who you are. You are who you are. Here, everything about you is judged. Everything about you is commented on. And you're overly conscious of yourself. Your appearance, your accent, the color of your skin, your height, your weight, your physical appearance. Everything about you is scrutinized constantly. And you're constantly thinking as a young person in school, you're constantly thinking, where do I fit? I need to fit in. I can't, I need to find some place to be where I can just belong. And so our youth, so many of our youth, they become enslaved to what they think is freedom. And they start dressing a certain way and talking a certain way and walking a certain way and listening to certain kinds of music and hanging with a certain kind of crowd, all thinking that this is part of their freedom, but not even realizing they're just enslaved. They're just enslaved. For those youth that feel that have felt that slavery, I'm talking to them today. And I'm saying Allah Azza wa Jal honors those who can say, I'm above this all. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهِ. Our Master is Allah. They're above it all. They have freed themselves from all of those shackles. Just that. That they declare their Master is Allah, which means they owe nobody an explanation for who they are. They don't have to justify themselves to anybody. They don't have to explain themselves to anybody. They take full pride in being slaves of Allah. They're proud of that. What better place to be? What better can I be than a slave of Allah? You won't see yourselves as inferior. You will see yourselves as free, while everybody else is enslaved. Allah Azza wa Jal says, it's so beautiful in the language of Quran. When someone is enslaved, there are burdens on them. Like in the old image of a slave, they've got shackles on them, right? Fetters on them, and they can't move because they have to carry large burdens. Like enslaved societies were made to do heavy labor. When Allah Azza wa Jal, especially in a surah that has so much sharia, and in Surah An-Nisa says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ. Allah wants to lighten your burden. Allah wants to lighten, take a load off of you. You become my slave, your load doesn't increase, it decreases. Life gets easier for you, not harder.